Hello, I'm Jeff Patterson. This is Daniel Tran. Today we're going to be looking at jab counters. And it's important when you're doing your sparring, your training, that you have different varieties of things to apply. Every time, if Daniel and I are sparring and every time we're training, he throws that jab and every time he does it, I do a catch block. He's going to pick up on that. He's going to start seeing where I'm open and see where some other options are for him to do. But if I have 3, 4, 5 different things I feel comfortable with, I'm always going to be kind of throwing him off, and I can use those to set up other attacks. So today, the first thing we're going to do is talk about some of the different basic blocking exercises for the jab. We're not working on evasions today, we're just going to work on blocking. So the first one we're going to look at is the catch block. On this one here, when I feed him the jab and he does that catch, he's going to start with his hand on the phone and then turn that forward, keeping the elbow there. He's not going to reach forward, he's going to let it come to him and then bring it right back to his jaw. So when I feed the jab, catch, bring to this side. Good. Notice how he's keeping that, he's not reaching for it. If he were to reach for it and I feed the jab, he's leaving himself wide open for that left hook. Next variation we're going to look at is the parry. On the parry, it's the same idea. When you're doing that rear hand parry, you don't want to push it way over here. You're just covering the face and coming right back. Elbows in tight, good solid base. So when I feed the jab, he does the parry. Good. Number 3, double cover. When you're doing the double cover, there's a couple different ways we play it. You can do the double cover where you bring the hands just up to your jawbones and kind of cover here and gaze out over the top of your gloves. Or you can bring your hands up to your eyebrows and leave a window between your hands. Not a big enough window where a glove can fit through, but enough of a window where you can see. You don't want to cover up like this and block because then you can't see anything coming in. So when you're feeding the double cover, also notice on the double cover when we're playing, he's not doing this and picking his elbows up to cover. You want to keep that good tight guard because I might go low, and so he's got that protection high and low. So when I feed that jab, double cover. Good. Next one. Single arm shield. So when he does the single arm shield for the jab, it's very similar to the double cover. When you come up, you're going to leave one hand kind of on the telephone on this side, and the other side you're going to cover here, almost like you're giving yourself an eye exam. You cover up one eye so you can see out the other side and see the punch coming in. So when I come here, elbows in tight, nice good cover, single arm shield. Good. Next, hook out. This one's going to kind of set up another punch. When you're feeding the hook out or using the hook out as a defense, it's very similar to a parry. You start with a parry and then you hook it out to the other side. So if you kind of one time throw a jab slowly, when it comes in here, I'm covering the punch with the parry hand, and I use the inside of the glove to kind of hook it out a little bit. And notice how when he does that, that's going to kind of set up that opening for that, open up his guard for that right hand. So we play the hook out. And notice how also when he gets a good one like that, he got me on that one when I, without an extension of my jab, he kind of tucked it and pulled me off my balance a little bit. That was how you want to try to use that glove to pull the hand. That was a good one. Hook out. Next one, inward block. Now, this is used, you hear that term in more of kind of karate or martial arts, but we use that in blocking or in boxing too. So when you're doing an inward block, just going to turn that palm facing you, and you're going to try to hit the side of the punch with the outside of the edge of your hand. So when I feed this, good. Next one. I know we're going through these kind of fast, but you can watch over them, look at them, and spend a little more time on each one later. Outward block. When you're doing an outward block for the jab, you don't want to do like a Hollywood block, where it's a big motion like this. We're keeping it nice and tight, and you're kind of coming inside. So maybe somebody kind of throwing a wide jab. So you come in, and that's going to kind of set up and open up something for that straight line punch down the center. So when he's doing that outward block, next one, pop up. Now this is a good technique. It's one that you would most likely use if you're playing with somebody who's got a longer reach than you and more height than you. If I'm training with somebody who's 6'5", 6'6", I'm not, if they're 5'5", I'm not gonna try to do a pop-up because they're coming down from a lower angle. I'm not gonna try to get underneath that. But if I am playing with somebody who's 6'5", 6'6", it's a lot easier to get that pop-up in. So all you're doing is kind of turning the palm over, almost like an uppercut, but you're using the palm, and you're popping that up. Make sure you keep that chin tuck in the shoulder, elbow tight to the body, don't reach up like this, and pop the hand up. So, sit down a little bit. Good. Next one, rear hammer. That's very much like a single arm shield. So when I'm doing my single arm shield, but this time I'm gonna leave my fist in this straight position and come up here and just use that like I was doing a hammer here, and come up and just block with that hammer position. So here, and last one we're going to look at, single arm shield combined with a catch. So when you're doing that one, the jab is coming in, I'm going to use that single arm shield, keeping my eye exam so I can see with that far eye, and use this hand to catch the block as it comes in. So here. Good. So those are some of the basics of those defenses. Now, you could play this, maybe you do each one, do a set of 50 on each one. Or you could play through the series. So Daniel, could you run through and just do a couple times through on the series, 1 through 10? Go ahead. So this is an example. You can kind of run through these any way you like. Use them in sets in a workout. The other thing I like doing with these is putting them together with a combination or a strike. So for example, you could have your partner feed you a jab, you could work the catch, and then follow up with a combination, or follow up with a punch-kick combination, mix it up however you want. You could also do it where you follow up, you throw a combination, and then in the middle of that combination, they initiate a jab, and you do the parry, and then follow up with something afterwards. So you can use it on the offensive side or the defensive side. It's really good to break these things down, and again, the reason why we're practicing so many different variations is I don't want to telegraph what I'm doing every time he throws a jab. I want to give him some other things to think about, and this will help give you some other variety. Thanks a lot for watching. Look for us next time. Talk to you soon.